In this 12th episode of the History of Fan Anime Redrafted, host William Chow explores the technical evolution of fansubbing methodology. The focus lies on distinguishing between linear and non-linear fansubbing approaches, a fundamental shift that transformed the anime fan translation landscape. Drawing parallels to graphical editing techniques, linear editing required a strict sequential workflow where each step had to be executed in a precise order. In contrast, nonlinear editing offered unprecedented flexibility, allowing editors to navigate freely through the timeline, making modifications at any point in the sequence without adhering to chronological constraints. During the early era of fansubbing, technological limitations played a decisive role in shaping the production process. The computing systems of the time lacked sufficient capacity to manage complete video files or subtitle data simultaneously. This technical constraint necessitated a linear approach, restricting editors from implementing the dynamic editing capabilities that modern systems afford. This historical context provides essential background for understanding both the criticism from veteran fansubbers and the technological hurdles that characterized early fansub production. These foundational aspects will inform our continuing exploration of fansub evolution from its origins to contemporary practices. William Chow explores the technical intricacies of linear fansubbing workflow. As we delve deeper into the evolution of fansub technology, we'll examine how early fansubbing methods were constrained by the technological limitations of their time. The fundamental challenge lay in the fragmented nature of the process. Unlike modern systems where all components are integrated, early fansubbing required multiple separate devices working in precise coordination. Each piece of equipment served a specific function in the subtitling process. The Genlock system handled video synchronization, dedicated devices controlled on-screen text display, and separate recording equipment captured the final output. This distributed workflow demanded meticulous timing and coordination, as each component needed to perform its designated task at exactly the right moment. Any error in this delicate orchestration would necessitate a complete restart of the process. A typical workflow involved initiating playback on the Laserdisc player, then precisely timing the activation of subtitle cues through the computer system. Simultaneously, operators had to manage recording equipment, typically a VCR or SVHS deck, while maintaining proper Genlock synchronization throughout the entire process. In the linear fansubbing workflow, subtitle intensity adjustments demanded precise timing and coordination across multiple devices. As host William Chow demonstrates, operators needed to simultaneously manage playback controls, subtitle queuing, and recording equipment, a process that required exceptional dexterity and coordination, much like conducting an orchestra. The precision required for subtitle synchronization was paramount. Timing discrepancies between dialogue and subtitles could significantly impact viewer experience, leading to audience dissatisfaction. Technical limitations of early computing systems introduced additional challenges, as processing delays could cause subtle timing shifts, necessitating manual adjustments. Even when initial timing was achieved, maintaining consistency across multiple runs proved challenging. When faced with timing inconsistencies, production teams often had to choose between multiple reruns to achieve perfection or accepting minor imperfections to meet distribution deadlines. This linear workflow stands in stark contrast to modern nonlinear subtitling methodologies. Contemporary subtitling software, comparable to professional video editing platforms, offers unprecedented flexibility. These systems enabled simultaneous subtitle placement, comprehensive graphical integration, and dynamic font manipulation. Perhaps most significantly, they allow editors to work bidirectionally through the timeline, beginning at any point and moving either forward or backward through the content. In nonlinear editing, as host William Chow demonstrates, editors have the freedom to select and work on any scene in any order, accessing different parts of the video at will. This revolutionary approach fundamentally transformed the fansubbing workflow. The technological advantages are significant. Errors can be corrected instantly through multiple undo functions. However, this flexibility has led to what some consider excessive subtitling practices. The fundamental constraint remains the viewer's reading speed and cognitive capacity to process on-screen information. When confronted with multiple elements, primary dialogue, subtitles, footnotes, signed translations, and additional contextual information, viewers may find themselves overwhelmed, particularly during streaming sessions where pausing and rewinding interrupt the viewing experience. Each fansubbing group develops their own methodology for handling these challenges. The evolution of fansubbing practices continues to spark debate within the community. A critical comparison between linear and non-linear approaches reveals that accuracy stands as a primary advantage of non-linear editing. With all components, video, audio, and textual elements unified in a single environment, editors can maintain precise synchronization across multiple editing sessions. The capability to perform multiple edits and refinements allows for unprecedented precision, down to hundredths of a second. This stands in stark contrast to linear editing, where equipment synchronization poses significant challenges. A slight misalignment between playback and subtitle triggering can create cascading timing issues. More problematically, these discrepancies might not become apparent until deep into the video, potentially requiring a complete restart when subtitle timing drifts by even a second. When confronted with timing issues, William Chow explains, fansubbers faced a critical decision: accept the imperfections or undertake a complete restart of the process. This meant rewinding the tape, resetting the text file queued to its starting position, and attempting to recreate the precise timing of the original run. The challenge lay in matching the exact moment of pressing the spacebar to trigger subtitles, hoping to achieve perfect synchronization. This time-intensive process often required multiple viewings of the same episode, a significant investment that not all editors were willing to make. During a presentation at SakuraCon, Chow demonstrated these technical challenges through a live timing demonstration of a G Gundam episode. The presentation highlighted both the standard workflow procedures and common technical difficulties that could arise during the timing process, offering attendees a practical understanding of the complexities involved in fansubbing production. The fundamental distinction between linear and non-linear editing methodologies becomes apparent when examining their respective workflows. Non-linear editing systems provide unprecedented flexibility, allowing editors to modify content at any point in the sequence. This represents a significant advancement over linear editing, where modifications are restricted to the most recently edited segment. The limitations of linear editing become particularly evident when working with television episodes. For instance, if an editor has completed work up to the commercial breakpoint, CM point, they can only make modifications from that point forward. Once the second half of the episode has been processed through to the ending credits, retroactive changes to the pre-CM segment become virtually impossible. The technical reason for this limitation lies in the sequential nature of the recording process. While theoretically possible to make precise edits to earlier segments, the practical challenges often outweigh the benefits. The delicate nature of the recording heads and the risk of inadvertently erasing desired content make it more practical to simply restart the entire recording process, though this approach necessitates significant additional effort. Host William Chow examines another critical distinction between linear and non-linear editing: video quality. In the realm of linear editing, the necessity to minimize post-production stemmed from an inherent limitation of analog recording. Each generation of VHS copying resulted in noticeable degradation of video quality, with visible loss of color fidelity and overall image integrity. This technical constraint had a profound impact on production decisions. Once a properly timed episode was completed, editors deliberately avoided incorporating additional visual elements such as elaborate graphics or decorative text overlays. The reason was clear: each additional element would require another generation of copying, further compromising the video quality. The philosophy became one of minimalism, implementing only essential subtitles with straightforward presentation. This approach, while technically limiting, proved effective for that era of fansubbing production. In contrast, modern non-linear editing systems offer unprecedented flexibility in the production workflow. Editors can now implement subtitles, character lyrics, and sign translations in any order they choose. The ability to add elements without degrading video quality has opened new possibilities for presentation, though William Chow notes that this freedom doesn't necessarily translate to improved viewing experience. The adoption of linear editing wasn't merely a stylistic choice, but rather a necessity dictated by available technology. While non-linear editing systems existed, they required professional-grade equipment on par with television studios and investment far beyond the means of most fansubbing groups. The substantial cost of entry into fansubbing during this period made such additional expenses impractical, particularly for what many considered purely aesthetic enhancements. This technological limitation shaped the visual aesthetic of that era's fansubs. However, this constraint aligned well with audience priorities. Viewers were primarily concerned with accessing new anime content and understanding the narrative through basic translation. With anime being released at an unprecedented rate and translations being scarce, speed of delivery often took precedence over elaborate presentation. As William Chow explains, this approach was exemplified by groups like Arctic Animation, which prioritized rapid distribution over perfectionism. This philosophy reflected the diverse approaches within the fansubbing community, where different groups developed distinct methodologies to serve their audience. In retrospect, this approach has been vindicated. The majority of titles handled by these early fansubbing groups have since received commercial releases, with modern digital versions ensuring their preservation. While some titles remain unreleased commercially, the industry has largely validated the early fansubbers' work by officially localizing their chosen properties.
Your engagement with our content is invaluable. We encourage you to interact with our videos through likes and comments, as these actions significantly enhance our visibility on the platform, allowing us to reach a broader audience interested in the cultural impact of anime in the Western world. For those interested in supporting our research and production efforts, we have established various channels for financial contribution. Detailed information about these support options can be found in the video description below. To complement your viewing experience, we have compiled an extensive list of resources related to this documentary series, including a comprehensive episode guide categorized by topic. These materials are accessible via the links provided in the description. We also have Patreon featuring exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insights. This resource offers additional materials that enhance our documentary series, including extended interviews, archival footage, controversial content, and in-depth analyses. Furthermore, we regularly update our blog with supplementary information, addressing frequently asked questions, sharing historical anecdotes, and showcasing visual artifacts and personal stories on the website via the links provided below.